Hey, what up, everybody? Stevie Breach coming to you, sitting here after work, about to go get some ice cream at Farrell's Ice Cream Creamery, one of the best places in town to go for ice cream. It's gonna be a good day, honestly. But last night was a great night. Last night was UFC 189. I've been watching UFC for probably about close to a year now, where most of the big fights I tune in. I'll normally watch the semi-main and the main event, and sort of been picking and choosing, who I like to fight and who I don't like to fight. There's only a few guys that don't pique my interest at all. But UFC 189, man, those last three fights, they really delivered. They were a ton of fun, and honestly, from a new fan's stance, I really think that it was one of the best nights of fighting that I've really seen. I know that they stack the fight night, or the fight week, big fight for UFC. It's sort of like their Super Bowl of the year. They normally go for that 4th of July weekend, but with the July falling on a Saturday, UFC chose to go with the next weekend. I think that UFC 200 is going to be next weekend, or next year. It's going to be on the 4th of July weekend, though, with the 4th of July falling on a Monday. They'll do July 2nd for UFC 200. But, Conor McGregor was somebody that piqued my interest. When I've seen this guy fight in past fights, he's won his fights in just mere seconds, coming out of the gates and just knocking somebody out. I like the fact that he has sort of like an arrogance to him that comes off like he's a wrestler. How he delivers his promos, and when he gets into the octagon, I really like his fighting style and his fighting stance. He's somebody that I can really get. Chad Mendes is a guy that I have seen fight before, but I gained a ton of respect for Chad Mendes in the fight yesterday. The way that he wrestled Conor to the ground, and if he would have been able to lock that guillotine in, he would have got the win right there. But Conor was able to slip out, jump to his feet, and at that moment, I really could tell that that Mendes was in trouble. It seemed like he got up. Conor, struck him twice in the head, and it was like Mendes was still up but didn't really know where he was. And then, Conor got a hold of him one more time, and Mendes was going down, and he hit him one more time just for the knockout effect, and the fight was done. If the fight would have kept on the way that it was going with the wrestling skills, there's definitely no way in the world Conor was going to be able to do that. But you could tell that Conor had arrogance throughout the whole fight. Even when he was on the floor getting out wrestled on the ground, you could see him jawing with Mendes and jawing with the referee. Asking to get the fight stood up again. I couldn't really tell the words, but you could tell that they weren't kind words to Mendes. But I did like the way that Mendes and Conor, when they were going back and forth, they were sort of cheering each other on, talking smack, saying things like, is that all you got? I never really saw that from UFC before. I do remember the fight where the guy walked out to the center of the octagon and basically told the other guy to hit him, and he knocked him out. That was a pretty memorable moment. But I can't say that I'm like a die-hard UFC fan, but I think that for making somebody a fan, UFC 189 really stepped up to the plate and really delivered. I at least know that these 4th of July weekend shows are going to be great. From here, I've been hearing lots of things that Aldo's camp says that they're going to be ready to fight in October. But for UFC's stance, it would make more sense to put this fight in either December, with the last fight of the year, or in January. I know that they normally do that big Super Bowl show in February, but that seems like too far of a wait. I really want to see Mendes go up against Conor again. I think that he does deserve a rematch. He did he did out wrestle Conor, and he was the first guy to really do that. So from there, I want to see him fight again, but in my heart, I believe that that even UFC is calling Aldo versus Conor McGregor one of the biggest fights in UFC history. So they're going to do that fight next. I mean, with the interim champion and your current champion who's dealing with trying to get rehabbed and back into shape. You know that they're going to do that fight, but win, lose, or draw, you think with that being one of the biggest fights in history, they would want to turn that around and do the rematch as fast as you can. You know, there's a few other guys in that division that Conor could fight, but I really want to see Mendes again. And like I said, Mendes is a guy that I gained a lot of respect for, and no matter, you know, who he fights next, he will be a guy that will have my money, and I'll be ready to cheer this guy on. You know, Sacramento's own Chad Mendes fought a damn good fight, and he did this fight on 2 weeks of training, and you got to give him respect for that.